to approve the July 29th meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, so the minutes are approved. What time is it? It is 4:35,
She
so,
was on the phone with, the town council, so maybe that's what's holding her up.
okay. Well, in the meantime,
You want to talk about the drain? We not? Yeah, we're on.
I want Tammy to be here for that discussion. So maybe what we'll move around a little bit on our agenda and talk about maybe the planning board application. So we don't need Tammy for that. So Tim,
Yes.
have you looked at that planning board application that I sent you last week?
Yes, I've started looking at it and I'm looking, and Sybil Guntlow's looking at it as well. The one question or the one thing we wanted to touch base with, and I know they're doing some research on, is in this particular instance, is the plan review required? Or is it more of which is something they're starting to think about now.
So municipalities are exempt for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's required or not, that would be up to town council to decide that.
Okay.
We've done it with all the municipal buildings, just to run it by all the other departments.
Yep.
So we get some other feedback, like police chief, fire chief,
Yep.
DPW, and puts everybody on notice to what's.
Yeah, the only concern that the civil engineer raised on it is whether it wants to be, so whether it needs to be a formal process or if it's informal. Because his concern on it particularly was if it's a true formal plan review process, potential to bring in abutters and what that might mean for the project. You know what I mean?
So a site plan review can bring in abutters, whether we're gonna have a meeting, public
Yep.
meeting, can bring in abutters anyway.
Right.
So there's municipalities, especially in Granby, is exempt from zoning. So in other words, if you're putting this in any neighborhood, it can go in place.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that anybody's gonna do to deter it.
Okay.
It's
That was more
It's-
his
it's
concern.
mainly-
He wanted to make sure it doesn't open us up to a new risk factor,
no.
was
it
his
should-
concern.
No, it should
Okay.
not.
Because I know in other towns they can.
So like I said, when the application is submitted, it goes out to all the department heads.
Yep.
And then they take a look at it, give a cursory review and see if there's anything that, the two big ones would be, other than, it would probably be fire and DPW. DPW is gonna be plowing, they're gonna wanna make sure, the site is gonna meet some of their requirements or needs. And then the fire department, especially about access and egress with the equipment, and anything else that may be, part of their expertise. Which probably is a good segue
But,
for Chief Anderson.
except Chief O'Grady has to leave, so I want to have him talk about what happened today, and then we'll get to you.
Okay.
All right, so we all know that we've been told that there's water in the basement at West Street. So for the past couple of weeks, we've been investigating where that water's coming from. And today we had some drain pipes scoped. And I'll let Chief explain what we found.
Yeah, so they sent the camera up the drain pipe that's in the courtyard, and approximately 2 to 3 feet off the building, it goes from a cast, which is coming from the roof down, and it goes to like a clay pipe, and there is at least an inch gap, and it's breaking apart. The guy actually pushed on it a little bit, and it broke some more, so they could get the camera in, so he could make sure the pipe going up to the drain itself on the roof is good. That is good. So it's literally about a 50 to 60 foot piece of pipe that needs to be replaced for the drainage, and that should
And it's right where the water's coming in?
Well, that's right, so to verify all that too, that roof drain we're talking about running a hose or some water up there.
See if you see water coming in.
And see what, yeah, verify that that break is tied into that roof drain.
So he's gonna come back and,
Well, someone needs to go back up there. and
It could be just Jeremy or DPW, just that, but, and then, right, just to verify water's coming down, that it's coming down from the roof drain.
as opposed to the drain in the, it's also coming from the drain in the,
Should
you.
we be looking at a more pressure and ask maybe a fire department that has a ladder to just blow some water in that drain, rather than trying to run a garden hose up there and have a trickle come down? Is that something maybe we,
Is the roof sloped? Is it a slope to like a?
I think it pitches into a,
Pitches to the
into a,
drain.
Yeah, it's a low slope.
It's a flat
roof, basically, with a minor slope.
So I mean, we could get more water. I mean, I think you're gonna want volume, not pressure.
Okay.
You know, like a 2-inch rainstorm or something.
Right, exactly, that's why it's volume. I mean, we're not gonna go up there with a
I don't, yeah,
3/4 inch garden hose and,
You're
be
right.
there till Christmas, so some water gets down.
I don't think you need District 1's ladder truck to walk down.
Well, I didn't know if you guys want to haul hose up the building, though, that's the,
It shouldn't be an issue. I mean,
Good practice.
either way.
Okay.
so we just have to ask DPW or
Yeah.
you guys to get a hose up to the roof, dump some water
You're
in
gonna
it
need
to
a
see.
truck
if
to
it's-
get the water there anyways, because you're not gonna have that much water from any connections at the building.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to do a little practice and feed a water hose up there and
How soon do you need it done?
when can you do it?
Soon.
How's tomorrow?
Miss that I can visit.
Sooner than later,
Okay.
because we also have to get a price to fix the pipe.
Okay.
So is that going on our budget or is that going on another budget?
Maybe should we go in that maintenance budget? Building maintenance budget? I'll look into it. See what we
Just-
have.
Well, I think the first thing is getting a price, so
Get a price, yeah.
Tammy knows what
Yeah.
we're looking at, you know?
You're right.
Because I assume that's from that roof drain to the yard drain, is where
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
going?
Just another note. Tom and I walked that roof last week. That roof's in pretty good shape.
It should be.
Mish, can you
old.
Yes, sir.
kind of be our
About
point
10
person
years
for this?
old at that
Yes.
point.
I'll work with you.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, so, fingers crossed that that's really the only problem that we have with the water in the basement.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I know, it is excellent. But we also,
Which is really what Neil and Tim said it probably would have been right from the get-go.
when we
Just
found out that there was water happening, right from the get-go, they said, sounds like a block pipe.
Yeah.
But then everything stopped, the project stopped, so we couldn't investigate.
Is it delayed? You know, like, is it rainy day and it takes a couple days to
No.
get to the cellar?
It rains.
Oh, no,
and
that big
happens.
storm we just had, we had water in the cellar the next
Yeah.
morning.
But the water dissipates very quickly, but,
It's for the other holes.
Yes.
do you still want, a yard up the wall pulled out? The
Sorry?
sheetrock, the sheetrock on the wall, do you still want to put,
We probably should, because that's damaged, so we might as well just get it out of there.
so, Tammy, can we put a work order in for Jeremy to pull, a yard of sheetrock in all those rooms? To put a yard, okay, well,
Basically, just remove it
remove it.
for now. And we're not doing any work down there anyhow, but let's
Right.
just get that out so we don't have a mold issue from
Right,
from old
right.
drywall that's absorbed water.
Want me to send you an email? Yes, please. For sheetrock removal. And all the rooms in the basement. Okay. I will turn it, actually, we'll tell you why you're here. How's that?
Thank you.
Good to know.
Okay,
Something very nice.
want to take over, Tim?
Sure. So the main thing that we want to run through with you is the extra tank that we have for supply for the fire department. And whether or not that's still needed or how we can kind of negotiate that. Right now, is it a must-have or is it a wish list item? Because at the moment, we're approaching it in an ideal world as one of our alternate items if we can afford it.
Okay. So, and then just to catch me up, you are renovating just the minimum amount of
Yes,
space.
so essentially, here somewhere, just the north wing for the most part.
Okay. Minus the cafeteria-ish
Correct.
stuff.
Yep.
Gym.
For exit, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, you can pass that down, it's got an inch of stretch on it. So it's the north wing, and then if you flip it over, the hallway essentially back to that main entry.
Well, and the TA.
Yeah.
Even though.
Yeah, it's shown there.
Okay.
Yeah, so essentially that strip, that horizontal strip.
And then what's happening with the rest of the building?
Essentially, all we're gonna do is we're gonna have a 2-hour rated wall separating.
Anywhere from the hallway?
Yep, separating the renovated from the existing. We're still gonna do an update on the fire alarm devices and egress lighting, exit lights, signs rather, throughout that space.
Throughout
That-
the new space or the old?
Both,
Okay.
but that's really the only upgrade we're doing on the quote-unquote unoccupied portion of the building.
Okay. And I'll just be devil's advocate, but why are you upgrading fire alarms and stuff in this?
Mainly just to, since it's unoccupied, we want to make sure that you have detection
Okay.
throughout that.
So I agree there should be detection, so where I'm going with this and kind of jumping ahead in regards to the pump and the tank as well, is you don't know what this will be in the future.
Correct.
So its future requirements, whether it was storage, whether it was condos, pick a tire storage.
Yep.
All that's going to determine what kind of sprinklers, pumps, water flow, all that's going to have.
Correct.
So investing in anything in that to me would be a little bit superficial and premature.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to the tank portion and having extra water, it would be a nice to have. I mean, if you're doing a deduct alternate for it or something, that's fine. My bigger concern was when you were talking about renovating, gym, we had bigger space, bigger voids, that could get away from us quicker.
Yeah, because of assembly.
Should there be a fire assembly or something?
Yeah.
So, again, when you start sizing your pump and your tank, you're gonna do your math for your sprinklers in the occupied area. I would rather see you spend the money in, detection than, the pumps in the tanks. Now, whether that's simply a laser in the hallway, so
Yeah.
it has a wide, instead of 15 heads, you're doing one laser, and it I don't know if it mathematically works and it works with code and all that stuff, but I know like in our garage or in gymnasiums we typically put lasers so that it's one sensor basically. Beam gets broken. We used to have problems with the coming up from the boiler room, whether it be steam, CO, things like that in the old days. So that entering that main hallway, if you're protecting yourself somewhere there through detection, I think that would be wise. But as far as pumps, sprinklers, I would keep it to whatever code says is required for the space, the
Yep.
use, and
Yeah, essentially, as it stands right now, in talking with the fire protection engineer, granted, this will likely change depending on the use that you end up in the unoccupied space, but they said in order to get the pressure that we need to tank storage for the actual pump and the system, the 12,000 that we're covering versus the 44, there's really not a huge difference from what they've found in terms of that from a capacity standpoint. Doesn't mean that you might, if you end up doing the entire thing as assembly that might change.
Right.
At least preliminarily, that's what they've found. So right now, we've got the tank storage and the pump is set up in hopes that it can be expanded. But we're only going to pipe and do the sprinkler distribution for the portion we're renovating.
And there'll still be an FDC
Yes.
and that portion. Okay.
Yes, yeah, we're planning off the north end of the north wing,
Okay.
kind
I
of.
think it was on a print earlier, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That, I mean, that, at this point, I think that makes the most sense to keep it as simple and as efficient as you can.
Okay.
Because you could be wasting money depending on what happens to the rest of the building.
So you're okay with the tank as an alternate?
Yeah.
When you say detection, do you just mean in the occupied or the whole building?
I was mainly occupied,
The occupied.
yeah, but if you're gonna, as long as you have detection in the other area, I guess that becomes a question on code is, if you touch the building, is it gonna be addressable so you will know what's
Yeah,
alarming?
you're gonna need to know what the zones in the existing are, so it would be a question of with what's there, can the address be shifted?
Is it technology, take it
Right.
even, yeah, so that's gonna be a code thing that's
Mhm.
building inspector can help you with too, but, you might have to upgrade to a certain point in the old section anyways, because it's now related to occupied space in the other
Right.
side. So you could have a fire over here, you gotta tell these people here.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'd be happy to keep it as simple as you can for the most part.
I would think it has to be addressable.
Yeah, I think so. Because you need to know where it is.
And then the other part is if it's addressable, we talked about it being in the front lobby, right? In the foyer or something when you first walked in?
Yes, so the
Yeah.
question would be, we're kind of treating that existing, for lack of a better term, entrance next to the cafeteria now is more of an exit at this point. So that your main entry would be at the north end. This now, in terms of where we're approaching the reno.
Well-
So the question is,
Your point of entry,
where are you gonna?
wherever it wants to be.
Right, my only question is if we're going to an addressable panel,
Mhm.
can we get through the occupied building to the unoccupied building?
Yes.
So there'll be a 2-hour door or something in the
Yes.
2-hour wall?
Yeah, we're gonna put 2-hour doors essentially in at the corridors
Okay,
so that you can still go through.
yeah, because that could be frustrating if you had to come to the lobby, read the panel, and run around back
Right.
to do something. That would-
Now, you need, and this is something we should talk about too, is I assume wherever we put your panel, we'd also then put your Knox box. Because those would all want to be locked so that we don't want Joe Schmo
Correct.
going into those spaces.
Yeah, we'd want the Knox box where the panels are ready, access forward.
And would you still want that panel off the other end, the south end of the north wing, if you will, next to the cafeteria?
You know where we're gonna put it as an emergency exit now? Should we put the panel there with a Knox box?
Because would that be where you would more likely enter, or would you more likely enter off the north end near where the FDC would be?
Probably gonna enter on the north end, I would guess.
I would think the
That's
truck
where
would
pump
pull up.
house, that's where
Yeah.
everything's gonna be.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would, without seeing the driveway plan, I would guess that driveway's coming around here.
yeah, it loops around the
Yeah, it
top.
loops all the way around.
And is this a ramp? Is
Yes.
that,
Yep,
okay. So you were talking about this being the vestibule with a panel there?
yes.
Yeah, that would work. And that's gonna be your main entrance, you think?
That
yes.
is the main thing.
Functionally, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, if that's where foot traffic's driving through, that would be our, for the key box and panel.
Yeah.
And FDC's around the corner, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Great, anything else for chief?
Obviously, we'll be reviewing a further site plan review.
Sure.
At least to get that concept kind of locked in.
Yeah, 'cause you just don't know what's gonna happen on the other side. I mean, every week you hear a different story.
Right.
So all of those mushroom to other mechanical things.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's wise to do the 2 hour addressable, whatever code makes you do,
Right.
and then kind of go within that. As far as the water, yeah, it would be nice to have if we're all of a sudden into what is the square footage of this? 15?
The whole thing?
The whole thing is 44. The portion we're renovating is now 11.7.
Okay, so you start pushing, 40,000 square feet or something that could get going.
Right.
Having a little extra on the site might be good. But, all right,
Okay, perfect.
cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
I gotta go pick up chief at the baseball.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
See, he better not get hurt or I'm gonna be in trouble.
right?
All right, so the next thing we can, I guess what I want to talk about is the finalized renovation plan.
Yep.
Construction document update.
Yep.
Which includes pump station placement.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about the public water reactivation, which there's not really nothing to talk about, I don't think, but we'll find out. Oh, and abating TA's office. So, go ahead, you can start. Finalized renovation plan.
So, based on going through the scope, which is well laid out in terms of where we landed in the minutes, reviewed that with my team. Sean's already made a head start in terms of updating all the files, so that's been shared now with the engineers to move forward. I spoke with everyone on the team over the course of the last few days and got confirmation earlier today that for completion of the CDs, based on where we're sitting and what they have, and availability, that we're aiming at this point for the end of September, about 8 weeks overall. In talking with Neil, that would put us the first full week, so the week of the 6th in October, to go out for bid. We had talked briefly, and I had a sidebar via email with Neil earlier today regarding demo package, a selective demo package, and abatement, whether we want to do that early or not.
We do, we do, do we not?
Well, let's talk through it first, because with all the pieces and parts, we're probably somewhere between 2 to 3 weeks before that goes out the door, just because we would have to do all the specs related to it separately. Some of the concerns with that we need to think about if we decide to go that route is how we plan for and what we plan for the subsequent construction package which will follow. Because the worst thing that could happen is you do some form of selective demo, we get that going, and then we find out that the other package is well beyond what we can afford. It's the worst possible scenario. And what do we do in that instance? How do we plan for that? Does that mean that we're pulling back on what that initial demolition package or abatement package is to make sure that they can kind of fit within and allow you some flexibility if for some reason, whether it's via grants or via town appropriation, you need to get more funding, that may cause delay before the next piece can happen. The other piece that we need to consider is there is abatement related to the boiler, and depending on the timing of the two pieces, talking with the team, ideally you'd want to exclude that work potentially so that the boiler can continue functioning until you get the main work underway. The other difficulty or wrench in this is with the envelope and the windows and abating those, how you would want to approach that, because pulling out all the windows, what do you put in their place? Ideally, you'd want whoever your GC is to be the one who's putting in your final replacement in terms of the windows and the wall fill. Can happen the other way, but it's a question of timing too, and lead timing. So do you have that as part of that initial scope? Do you not include that in the original abatement? Or do you abate and remove the windows, but you put in some kind of temporary protection in its place? Neil, I don't know if you want to weigh in here at this point.
The only other thing I think that you need to consider is if a hazard is identified in the windows, you may have no choice but to abate all of the windows if such a hazard exists. So that's the other thing. We've talked about that before. That's something else we need to be mindful of.
What hazard, what hazard could come up that we haven't already discovered?
Caulking, issues with the caulking.
We're well aware that there's PCBs in the caulking that
Yeah.
needs to come out.
And do we know the extent of that? Has it leached into the brick and or the ground? I'm asking. I don't know the answer to the question. If we know that to be the case, then I think we're gonna be in a position that we're gonna be mandated to abate.
Nothing that I've seen says that when it comes to the PCBs,
So,
other than we know we have PCBs in the company.
so with that being said, what would we be waiting on to know that?
There would have to be another test done. Additional testing done to confirm the limits. And that may be a non-starter.
So that's probably something that should have been done already.
Again, you can operate on the assumption that it's positive and treat it as such without confirming. I believe the way the law states is that you must assume it's positive unless you have proof, definitive proof that it's negative.
So you assume it's positive and don't do the test.
Say that again?
So you assume it's positive and don't spend the extra money doing the testing.
Just to prove if it's negative or not.
Because we're abating anyways.
Right.
So, and the whole area is gonna come out anyway. So why are we gonna spend the extra money to to find out if it's negative when it's being removed anyway? That makes sense?
But you brought up what if it's in the soil? We removing the soil
Or
too?
in the brick.
Right.
You know, you're talking 2x, that's substantial amount of money more. But brick and soil. And depending on how saturated the soil is.
Yeah. The way that I've seen it done in the past is they take a portion of the brick around the window and assume that it's
Clear.
hot and it goes out what the window is. Waste and gets disposed of accordingly.
Okay.
That's been my experience. But
Percent sure. All right. The way you were talking, I was thinking the whole entire wall is disappearing. Are you talking about a section around the window?
The section around the
Alright.
perimeter.
Somehow, for some reason, sorry, I was.
Yeah, no, yeah.
obviously that should be, reviewed with the hazmat consultant to
I'm
make sure
sending
that
it in
it's
now.
consistent with practices, but that's,
We talked about this before, way earlier on in the project. I'd have to pull out the notes that we have on that. But what Neil's saying is consistent with what we basically said. We won't test, we're gonna assume, take out a section of the windows, the brick around the windows and be done with it.
What about the soil?
We assume negativity.
I'm gonna try and put this as delicately as I can, but why the hell didn't we do something with this when we had the full project before? I mean, if we have to do soil testing or we find out, that's a big game changer.
But I think what Neil's saying is you don't have to do those tests. Most people come in and assume and take out around the window. They don't do any testing.
But you just brought up the soils.
I have seen it before, that when the concentrations in the caulking are significant and it's aged and it begins to leach, it can leach into the soil. I would defer to our hazmat consultant as to what our obligations are with regard to the soil in and around the windows. But it is a risk.
So we need to do that before we even spend any more time on designing. I mean, we're gonna get nickeled and dimed with professional costs or soft costs. And then to go through the whole process and then to find out that we got PCBs in the soil, that's a whole different ballgame now. And it's,
Well-
and we're talking another 500,000.
Jim, that may have already been done. I would refer back to the
Yeah, I
hazmat
just sent him a note.
testing that had been previously done in 2015, 16, and determine if that is in fact been already confirmed and that it's clean. If it is, there's no issue. If it isn't, it's a potential risk.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
And I think 8 weeks is, I mean, we were ready, just about ready to go out to bid, right?
6 weeks.
For the whole project, right? And now we've condensed it to, let's just for argument's sake, less than half. And now we're talking 8 weeks to get the documents out.
Part of that, and I can't speak for everybody, I know we have varying levels of if it's still a 6 weeks or not, but I think if I had to speak for others on the design team and why they're pushing for the 8 weeks, it's likely because other projects have moved in and this has been cost. That's, if I had to guess, that's a large piece of it. And how it fits within their other obligations. Now that it's gone live.
Okay, so that's understandable. But the cost, and so that should be defined based, so we're not paying for 8 more weeks of
No,
redesign and studying and so on and so forth.
No.
We're still down to the basic 5 or 6 weeks to get this out. It
Correct.
just so happens it's not flowing within the schedule of your team.
correct. Yes.
So
And
the way, what I'm seeing right now is we're redesigning, we're doing this, we're doing that, and I see our soft costs going up.
well, and I don't know if Lynn had shared it with you
I haven't.
yet, but I have issued a ad service. Much of that, at least on the architectural side, is to recoup the costs that we've done over the last 4 months in terms of various options, how we've skinned the cat, how we've looked at ways to cost save, what we've done in terms of scope gyrations from that standpoint. And the engineering cost that's associated with that as well, in terms of additional calculations they've done with regards to load as well as fire protection. The one concern they have there that might change if we think that award can happen early enough is with regards to the HVAC and the calculations that have to happen there. The primary issue there, which is what he's assumed at this point, is that there is, I think it's a change in the code or law, I can't remember which, with regards to refrigerant that's going into effect essentially at the end of the year. And that means he'd have to change what he had originally spec'd. Which would then lead to a new load calc for a new piece of equipment.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go over this with Tammy or Neil, so
Mhm.
I haven't necessarily shared it yet. But we'll keep that in mind, this increased soft costs. Anything else on the renovation?
Uh,
Construction document update? Oh,
No.
Okay, what about the pump station? Is it definitely, it's definitely going,
Yeah, we are moving forward with that basement room. Right now, and I'll coordinate with Chief, we're eyeballing Sean and myself to come back out on this Friday to the site, to the building. And I know that, at least Robert Paul is planning on coming out soon as well to do additional field work in that room.
Okay.
What time are you guys ready? Is it in the morning, afternoon?
I imagine we'll come in the morning.
He feel great, he's up here around.
On Friday?
Yeah.
No, he's not gonna be.
He just has to be, do you still have your,
I don't know if it ever got found, because the last time they know I came out, they couldn't find it at the office here. So I don't know where it ended up.
What was that? I'm sorry.
The key. I don't know if you heard anything.
No, I haven't heard anything about it at all.
no, me neither. Okay,
I'd have to ask him.
we'll figure out
We'll figure it out one way or
how
another.
to get in.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, part of the renovation is the TA's office, which is going to be an alternate. However, Tammy has requested that we actually abate that part.
As part of the base,
Yeah,
which would make sense to do. You're in that general.
because eventually she's gonna be moved into that anyway.
Now, the question would be, I assume when you do that as part of base bid, if you will, you would abate. Same question, would you do the windows at that point too? It would seem like that would make sense. Okay.
Tammy, did the select board have any issues with,
Nope, everything's good. I talked about it on the thing and it makes sense to do it the way we're doing it.
build out what we can with the money that we
Yeah,
have?
exactly.
Okay. And then last thing I have on the agenda is the public water supply reactivation. Supposedly we're supposed to get a letter from DEP.
All right, can you tell me who was supposed to be contacting me? I can call them myself.
So I can send, should I send it to you, Lynn? Yeah,
What are you sending home?
I have the contact of who we've.
Oh, we're working with?
Who was on vacation that we were supposedly waiting to get back to contact you.
Oh, okay, so
So
they are on vacation, hence why they didn't get back to us.
Well, supposedly they were gonna be back last week, but,
I don't mind reaching out to them if you want to
Okay,
Yeah.
give me the contact.
so let me, because they spoke with Mike Gorski, and apparently they were waiting for Andrew Kelly. So I have phone numbers for both of them.
those are all different people, I think, than last time. And, was that Michael Gorski? Did you say Gorski?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, same people. Good. Or same person. We did the consent order. So, yeah, send me that and I'll send it to her, or you can just send it directly to her.
What's your email?
Town admin at Granby, am I getting it right?
Yeah.
/ma.gov.
I actually haven't been here.
Oh,
I wasn't
I
sure.
don't
if I
even know
had.
myself very often.
I understand that. There are times I have to really think.
We also asked Rick Gare to give us an estimate based on the old consent order, what it would cost to get the well up and running. I have not heard back from them, and Jeremy said I should be the contact person. I didn't think it would take long to do it all, but that's apparently not on their top priority list. So that is in the works. I just hope that getting the public water supply reactivated isn't gonna slow us down. Anything else? Anybody? Anything else? All right, entertain. Oh, so do we need to meet next Tuesday? I mean, are we in a holding pattern now because we're waiting for you to get the construction documents out?
We're
I mean,
gonna be moving through, and we may have things that we wanna touch base or run by you. I think we can, if we wanna move towards just
2 weeks.
every 2 weeks and maybe do it virtually, if that's easier. I know it's easier for you and I.
Yeah.
to-
And we don't need to meet about the about the water pipe. So,
Oh, it's already
Well-
discovered. All it needs to be is
decided where it's portioned, whether it's part of your maintenance or somehow folded into our scope.
All right,
That's real.
so we can meet in 2 weeks and it can be virtual at this point. I mean, I'm okay with that.
That'll give us basically 4 meetings, right, 2 in August, 2
Yeah.
in September,
Yeah.
before we go to bid. If we went to 2 weeks,
Yeah, and there may
you
be,
think would be enough?
yeah, and there may be small things where we, whether it's the group or subcommittee that we might want to be on as we get deeper and
Yep.
if issues come up
So
or decisions need to be made.
so you wanna, meet it on August 19th?
Yep.
And you two are zooming in
Sure.
at, 4? Or do you want 4:30? 4.
I can do 4 if that works for you.
Yeah, that'll work.
We said 4?
4.
Yeah.
All right, so then entertain a motion to adjourn.
One other thing, just to confirm, when we last met with the schedule
Oh, yeah.
up in the air, we have not sent out any notification to those that responded to our original pre-qualification inquiry. I would like to provide notice to them that obviously the scope of the project has been greatly reduced. Pre-qualification will no longer be required, but invite all of them to submit proposals, and then that would occur in October.
Yep.
As long as the committee's okay with that.
So you send a personal letter to each one of the people that
Well,
that-
really, I'll either do a form letter
Yeah,
by memo on our letterhead, or I believe I have the ability to do it via email through the service that we hired to
Okay.
receive the original prequels. So I think I have the ability to do it electronically,
okay,
which I will certainly do.
okay. So that should be done by the next meeting, you're saying?
Yep.
All right. Motion to adjourn,
Motion to adjourn?
second?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, guys.
thank you.